There's loads of stuff I wish I knew. But then I don't think you should really worry yourself about that. I think it's more a case of um, as you kind of come up against stuff and experience stuff, take it on the chin and understand it, and then move on and hopefully not let it happen again. If you can.
Okay.
What was that? I don't know. I had to think about this one. I don't really know, actually. I wish I knew not to. I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah, all of the stuff that I've kind of learned has turned me into what I am now, and even then, I don't know if I'm on the right track. Anyway, so I think probably the easiest way of answering that is by saying that you keep your aims and your focus quite flexible. I suppose that's also in answer to what I wish I knew before as well. Is to be as flexible as possible with your aims and like your direction, because like a lot changes, and we're also in a very changing world. Like I suppose broadly, I would have said, like, if somebody asked me what I wanted to be doing in like 10 years, broadly, I suppose I would have probably been like media, TV, or whatever. But I would have never known it would have been. I'd have been working on what we're working on. I don't even know what that is at the moment. It's like an online broadcaster of some kind. But we're working on different projects and potentially doing a record label, and we're making documentaries, and we're just doing mad stuff. And it's like we never really have had a business plan or an aim. It's kind of just discovering what we're good at and then working with it as we go along, I suppose. I think that's what it is. And you kind of balance that out between what you think is creatively viable and also what you think is viable on a business sense. And those dynamics change over time. I find it really hard to turn around and say, like, this is what we're going to be doing in. Right, this is what we're going to be doing in 6 months, let alone in 5 years. Yeah, I think that it's really hard to have definitive aims and targets in the creative industry, I think, because it is a creative industry, like, new things are created all the time, and new opportunities and directions, and you might just be like, oh, I don't know, this doesn't work in this environment anymore, so let's grow legs and walk over in this direction. And we've got the ability to do that, so let's do it. Your audience and the people listening to your stuff and the people investing their time and energy in chatting about you and giving you love. It depends on which brand it is, really, to be honest. With Red Bull, we do a number of shows with Red Bull Music Academy a year. We partner with them on projects that are exciting for both of us. Both parties can get good exposure and a good show out of, and we basically combine our resources. And then we've got a partnership. Well, it started off with Umbro, and now it's turned into Adidas, which is a yearly five-a-side tournament, which hasn't really got anything to do with football or to do with music, but it means that everyone can get in a park. We can put up a sound system and play football and have a laugh, and also get paid for it. But it's beneficial for the brand and it's beneficial for us in a non-direct way. We don't have to broadcast a live show, so the whole world doesn't have to see we're working with Adidas. But everyone gets a decent Adidas kit and runs around in the park with their name on the back and their record label logo on the chest. So it's kind of fun. And we get to have a barbecue in Hackney Park during the summer. And then, you know, we're doing something with Bowes and Wilkins in Primavera next week, where they basically build a sound system for us, and we broadcast it. And it's, you know, it's quite a cool technological experiment. And yet again, you know, it shows off their product and it shows off what we can do. I suppose one at the moment that is probably a little bit less of a fit, but is kind of like harder to understand, is no, we're basically, the reason why I'm in Chile is I'm making a documentary about the underground music scene here in Chile, and we went to Mexico and did one a few weeks ago. I'm not sure where we're going next, but we're doing a few more. And it's sponsored by Ballantine's, which none of you have probably heard of, but it's a whiskey which is from Scotland, but distributed everywhere else in the world. And they basically just want to identify with our audience. You know, we've got a strong audience in the territories where they want to sell more alcohol, and they know that, you know, if they put money into us having a great boiler room show for the first time in Chile, then it's just going to be explosive, and they'll have their branding and they'll be giving away drinks and they'll get their hashtags and all that kind of stuff, and it just, you know, it looks good, great for them. You know, they, like, you know, we're offering something that they don't have essentially, and that they need, which is, you know, eyes on their products by the people that will buy it, or they hope will buy it. So, you know, that's essentially what we're offering. And so the deals range from, like, give us a couple of grand, and we won't put your logo anywhere, we'll just give out some beers in the background. So, like, you know, like really big deals where you know, it's like it gets into the kind of dynamics of Facebook impressions and YouTube hits, and, you know, advertising on the page, and, you know, really in-depth kind of examinations of statistics, and exposure, and legal restraints and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's complicated. It is complicated, but I suppose at the end of the day, it is, you know, the bottom line of it is you know, if you're creating a brand with an audience, then you've got something that brands need, which is eyes on their product, essentially.
And do you approach the brands yourself, or do you have someone who works for Boiler Room who focuses more on setting up those relationships?
Like, now we've got a team of people who, you know, like, I've got mates who work for, like, media agencies or brands or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, we want to work at Boiler, and I'm like, oh, go and speak to Stephen and he'll sort it out, and they'll, like, do decks and they'll do deals and all that kind of stuff. The first deal that we ever got when it was just the two of us was just a mate of ours who worked at Red Bull, and we were like, we're broke and we're gonna have to sell that. Can you look this up now? You know, to be honest, most of the deals that we've done have come through networking and what have you. Very little through kind of cold calling and sending, you know, a portfolio or something to some email address. A lot of it's been done through kind of like people understanding the way in which you work, and trusting, you know, that you'll do a good job with it and all that kind of stuff. Which is basically going out, having drinks with people, connecting with your fan base and your audience, because essentially, you know, there could be somebody, there could be a fan of your band or project or whatever, who is like head of marketing at some brand that's got a load of money to spend on a project,